What's up, YouTube? Today we visit a website titled Sins of Attraction, and the author who wrote on this blog is called Sin with two N's, so SINN. And he wrote this on Thursday, December 28th, 2006. Let's begin. Titled Attraction Switch. And he originally starts off by recapping something he had spoken about in a previous article where it was the embodiment of 6 alpha characteristics. And he goes over what they were. And the first one was confidence. And in this one, he specifically says it's not really the confidence, but the illusion of confidence, right? And he says you accomplish that by approaching within the 3-second rule and having good body language and escalating. For those that don't know, the 3-second rule, or what the PUA community refers to, is when you see a woman that you're interested or attracted to and that you want to approach, within the first 3 seconds, you got to approach her. That's the rule. And so he says by doing that, you give off the illusion of confidence, and that's a good thing. Second one is just to simply smile. And he quotes in a survey taken in the 70s, this would be 1970s, John Egan found that 98% of women prefer to be approached with a smile. Okay, makes sense. I think we all could have thought that ourselves, but not only a smile, but with a sense of humor. And that's number 3. And he says, women love funny men. The way to a woman's heart is through making her laugh. And he says, I don't know anyone who can consistently get girls who doesn't make them laugh, right? So far we have confidence, smile, and a sense of humor. Number 4 is establishing a sense of connection. He says a woman has to feel like there is something happening between the you two, right? The women call it chemistry, but in that interaction, besides the physical thing that's happening, there's something else, maybe an emotional stirring or, some, I don't know, you want to call it some chemical, craziness happening in the head. Number 5 is being well groomed. And I think this is a common sense, right? If you, get a nice shirt, make sure it's ironed, nice pants, nice shoes, trim your beard, cut it up, do whatever you have to do. If your eyebrows are crazy, maybe you wax them. If you're into that, who knows? If you're maybe extremely hairy on your chest, maybe you shave it. Up to you. But the point is, be well groomed. And the last thing on the list is he says social proof. He says people, especially women, tend to stereotype. So we want them to stereotype us in a role that we want. And that means by simply being surrounded by women, right? If I'm surrounded by women, then I become more attractive to the next woman I approach. And so those were the 5 or 6 characteristics of what an alpha male should embody. And this leads to the article that we're currently on, and he calls it the attraction switches. And so the first one is saying being pre-selected by women. And before we get into it, what he means by this is that something goes on in the interaction or the perspective of the female who you're trying to attract. There's a switch on the head that occurs, right? There's attraction now, right? So attraction switches. Now she's attractive. So pre-selected by women. He calls it a hybrid of social proof, except that in this version, we go to great lengths to make our target and her peer group know in no uncertain terms that we have dated women of great beauty and social status, right? So basically he's saying some way, shape, or form, the woman I am going to be engaging with will find out and know that I have approached, dated, and hang out with beautiful women. He says that the effects of this are many, and the biggest one is the social proof aspect, right? Because we have had the ability to approach beautiful women before, and since we do that, we will be unaffected by her beauty. The second attraction switch is being a leader of men. He says it's also part of the aspect of social proof, but in this case, it leans in the direction of showing the strength of character, right? If you're a leader of men, that means you have something about you that inspires others to follow you, right? It also implies some social status because not anybody, like people in general, don't just follow anybody. There is something special about you. And he says that all in all, just the idea of being a leader shows so many good things about us that it cannot be understated. The third one, being a protector of loved ones. And he says this one is important to show her, especially if you were to get into a relationship with her, right? She would want to know that she could be safe, that she'll be protected. And it also shows, is more for the woman as well, that if she were to have children with you, the children would be safe as well. And she will be able to see that you're willing to protect her, even at the expense of your own safety. Now, in reality, I'm not too sure if he means literally or the illusion of, before he brought up the illusion of confidence. I mean, in this case, I'm sure if this is a woman you like, you will protect her and you will go out of your way to do so. But I suppose if you're not too serious about the relationship, bringing the illusion would be okay. But if you're dating a chick and you're not that serious about her, and you give her off the illusion and something happens, you're gonna look like a big douchebag. Protect your reputation, right? The fourth one is being willing to emote. The ability to show her the range of your emotions is very powerful. You have to demonstrate to her very clearly that you're someone who follows their emotions. It just so happens that your emotions lead you toward being pre-selected by women, a leader of men, and a protector of love. Actually, now he states that these are the attraction switches that he had heard from Mystery, and Mystery is a Canadian pickup artist, and he says that he has begun to add a few more. And so for Sin, the ones that he created, and we're going to go with number 5, he states the willingness to walk away. And he says, in every set, there was a point where you have to show her without a doubt that you want her. But then at the exact same time, you're also willing to walk away if she doesn't adhere to the standards you have set for her. And I think this one is very important. It shows that 1, you're not needy. 2, you don't need her. And 3, you have everything in your life, right? You're already satisfied with everything in your life. It's no big deal. And this would be considered an attraction switch, right? The ability to walk away at any point in time. Even if you are already in a relationship, showing to a woman that, look, I don't need to be here, right? Value my presence, that kind of thing. And so he goes to number 6, the ability to affect her emotionally. He says, I used to call this the ability to lead her on an emotional journey. However, the more I think about it, it's the real power of leading her on an emotional journey would only work if she is emotionally affected by you. Thus, it's important to have the ability to affect her emotionally. And he says when 2 people interact, one of them has an emotional reaction while the other one doesn't. And the unaffected person has more social power. He says we don't have weird emotional reactions to homeless people. And he says the very act of being someone who gets her to have an emotional reaction, good or bad, is attractive. And I think this is something that we can actually relate to because we've probably heard this already, right? In the quote unquote PUA community, they say that women are emotional. So being able to invoke an emotional response in her by you, whether it's good or bad, is causing some type of attraction, right? And so I do agree with that one. It definitely is an attraction switch. Okay, so number 7, he says identity. Who you are and what you do can and should help your game, right? So he says, for example, he does a couple of boot camps, Sin, and he says he'll have a doctor or a fighter who never tells women what they do. And he's saying this is a big mistake. He says every identity can be conveyed in a way that'll make women more attracted to you. And he says it all comes down to how you ground it and describe it to a woman's model of the world. And so, yeah, I agree with this. So, for example, he says a doctor or a fighter. Let's go with the firefighter. Basically, he's saying this is a very easy way to show that, 1, you're a leader of men, that you're a protector of loved ones. It's very easy to tell her a story. Perhaps, for example, let's say there was one fire that was at first you didn't think it was going to be so bad because, you were making a sandwich and everything was going fine. You have the radio on, but then all of a sudden, the alarm goes off and everyone's jumping to grab their gear and they're sliding down the pole and they get into the truck. But then the guy on the radio, right, dispatcher, he's like, yo, it's in this certain location. And you're like, well, that's crazy because that location is next to a, let's say, garbage facility and it's very flammable there. So if you don't get there quickly, the fire could spread. And so now you guys are rushing over. But then when you get there, you realize, oh, damn, there's no fire hydrant, so you just tell the story and you're able to attract her and, get emotionally involved. So that makes sense. And then the last one he says is the lifestyle. He says the type of life you live that you would be bringing a woman into can be attractive. And we've also heard about this one before about how they say bring a woman into your frame or have a woman submit to your frame, right? Have a woman submit to the life that you're living, right? And he continues saying, you should be actively conveying what she can expect if she were to become your girlfriend, right? Very important. And she says, will she be sitting at home all the time watching you eat KFC? Or will she enter a world where she is whisked away to a cool party with awesome people? Does she enter a bottle service party where the man she desires is surrounded by other women? Or is she whisked away again to the top of a mountain on an amazing hike, right? And so where she can expect to be with you, right? So it's very important, first of all, you can't have a lifestyle if you haven't worked on your own yourself, right? If you don't have anything going on, then what exactly will the woman walk into, right? So while this definitely is an attraction switch, we have to understand it doesn't even apply to all men, right? And I suppose the more interesting of a lifestyle you have, the more appealing it would be to the woman who might be interested in you. And so he ends the article with, So that's where attraction shifters have come from and where we currently are. And he says this is by no means a complete list. And he says himself that I'd love to see what you guys come up with and some more suggestions. So all in all, this article is very compelling into telling you guys, first with the six, what the alpha embodiments would be, the alpha characteristics: confidence, smile, sense of humor, sense of connection, being well groomed and social proof. But then on top of that, stating, what would a woman be attracted to? How to, the attraction switch. How do you flip the switch for to be attracted? Being pre-selected by women, being a leader of men, protector of loved ones, right? Willing to emote. And these are very good things to know. But all in all, none of this would really be possible if you don't have your own life, right? If you're not going out there and getting new experiences and trying new things and figuring out who you want to be and where you want to go, it's kind of hard to, one, build up the quote unquote alpha characteristics, but it's also hard to get a woman to get, attracted to you. And this is why it's very important you have to focus on yourself, right? Do the things that you have to do to build up your life, right? Where are you going? What are you going to do? Are you the guy who's going to go travel the world, do some odds and ends jobs wherever you go, get some money, and the woman you meet, find out that, this guy's a traveler. He came, let's say, from all the way from South America, and now he's in Europe. Will you be the guy who's at home all the time? Maybe you just work and you stay at home. You don't like going out. She's just going to come in and, into a nice, relaxed, and calm environment. Or what if you're the guy who always likes to party, right? So it's important to think of these things. And so I just want to say it again. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate you coming. And if you feel like you've learned something or want to add something to the conversation, or perhaps you can come up with your own attraction switch, please leave another comment down below. I am always happy and eager to talk to you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.